Good morning, Year 10. I hope you're well and having a lovely day. This is Mr. Sousa welcoming you to today's lesson. Please could you write the date and the title, which is Speech Writing Using Humour. For this lesson you will need a pen and your exercise book, access to a computer to watch the clips, and access to a PDF copy of Mindy Kaling's speech. So for the do now, I'd like you to answer these 3 questions. What sort of thing do you find funny? What makes you laugh? And what type of comedy do you like? Please pause the video for 5 minutes or so to answer these questions. Humour in speeches. This is one of the hardest skills in your writing if it doesn't come naturally. However, there are tips that can help introduce humour into your writing. What I would like you to do is watch the 2 clips on this slide, and the links will be on class charts. And then, using the next 3 slides, consider what types of humour Michael McIntyre uses. Write out the examples of the humour he uses under the technique. It would help to look at the following slides and read them and make notes on different types of humour before looking for examples in the videos. I have done the first video for you as an example, so watch it and look at my notes in red, then do the second video yourself. The notes in blue are examples of each technique. So, types of humour in writing. Please make sure you have notes on all of these. Firstly, you have observational or situational humour. This involves finding humour in mundane, everyday situations. So my example is, nothing frustrates me more than that moment during an argument when you realise you're wrong. And examples from the first video include arguments about sitting in front of the car, pushing buttons in lifts, and men going roadside when walking with a woman, and acts out lived conversations. Another type of humour is anecdotal humour. This involves miming personal stories for humour. That awkward moment when you are wearing Nike and you can't do it. Sometimes just wearing sportwear is enough effort for me. And examples from the video include using examples in his jokes about his boys in cars, lifts, and crossing the road. Uses childish voice when using examples from his boys. It's my turn to sit in the front. It's more fun up there with mum and dad. Your rival trapped in the worst seat behind you. Speaks about actual green man crossing the road. So 3 more types of humour. You've got dark or gallows humour. This is finding humour in darker or more unpleasant circumstances or aspects of life, such as death, suffering, and unhappiness. So an example is, first the doctor told me the good news. I was going to have a disease named after me. And an example from the video, when talking about men going roadside, he says the person who crosses the road says, I thought I was going to die. The other person shouts, you left me to die. You've also got self-deprecating humour. This involves you, the writer, making fun of yourself for comedic effect. Having a sense of humour about yourself endears you to others. I may not be that funny, or athletic, or talented. I forget where I was going with this. So there you've got a tricolon of 3 things that the speaker isn't, endearing them to the audience. And then you've also got satirical humour. This is looking to the various faults of individuals, organisations, or society and mining them for comedic purposes. Zombies eat brains. You're safe. When talking about the green man and crossing the road, he says, and adults don't help, he's an idiot. Because adults don't follow the road rules when they're trying to teach their kids. So once again, please make sure you have notes on all the different types of humour, examples for each one, which were written in blue, and then the examples from the video in red. So these are some easier techniques. First, you've got use the rule of 3 tricolon. The rule of 3 is a common rule in humour writing and one of the most common comedy writing secrets. It involves establishing a set pattern with 2 ideas and then subverting that pattern with a third incompatible idea. For example, can I get you anything? Coffee? Donut? A better attitude? You've also got leverage cliches. While cliches are something most writers try to avoid, it's important to recognise them. Humour relies in part on twisting a cliché, transforming or undermining it. You do this by setting up an expectation based on the cliché and then providing a surprise outcome. For example, what doesn't kill you makes you stranger. So please make sure you've made notes on these two easier techniques. So now it's your turn. Have a go at writing an example of each humour technique. If you find it particularly difficult, just do the ones you can. Examples of each technique are written in blue on the previous slides. So don't just copy my ones. Please try and make your own up for as many of the humour techniques as you can. So pause the video to do that now. So now we're going to look at Mindy Kaling's speech. I would like you to read her speech and highlight the parts where she uses humour. Also, annotate the speech with what types of humour she uses. Don't worry too much if you cannot identify every piece of humour, but try to find a few throughout the whole speech. Perhaps consider sharing your ideas with a family member or a friend in Year 10. They can also give you their ideas. So please pause the video for 10 minutes or so to highlight and annotate that speech. Okay, now it's your turn. I would like you to write a speech to young people, congratulating them for something. You do not have to use humour in every sentence. That would be very hard. Also, it probably would not be very effective because no matter how good your humour is, no one wants to laugh every few seconds. So key moments like the opening, somewhere in the middle, or maybe at the end, they're all good places to use humour. So first you need to plan. First paragraph, second paragraph, and so on, using topic sentences, and plan out the humorous sentences or techniques you'll use. And don't forget the basics: spag, good vocabulary, range of sentence structures, and punctuation. So I've got an example here. The first thing I want to say is congratulations to you all. Well, some of you. If, like me, you know you could have tried harder, then you can stop listening, which is an example of self-deprecating humour. So please could you pause the video for 15 to 20 minutes to do your own congratulatory speech using humour. So that brings us to the end of today's lesson. I hope you found it enjoyable and helpful, and I look forward to seeing you next time.